Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope everyone is doing great, doing fine, and utilizing Ramadan al Mubarak fully. This day we will be discussing the second chapter of NBF's book, and that is The Art of Muslim Women's Entrepreneurship. And it is written by a Somalian writer named Zainab Abdi. What do you understand from the title, The Art of Muslims Women Entrepreneurship? Before moving on, firstly, tell me what is the meaning of entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is a process of creating, it's a process of creating, designing the whole business. It starts from the idea, business idea, how you are going to start that, how you are going to manage that, how are you going to manage the finances. It all comes under the idea of entrepreneurship. In this chapter, we will be learning the art of Muslim women. So, how Muslim women have created their community, have created their businesses all around the world. Let's begin with the chapter. So, the main theme of chapter is entrepreneurship, and the sub themes which we will be discussing in this chapter is entrepreneurship role in a society, success stories of entrepreneurs, and women empowerment. How women are empowered through the idea of entrepreneurship. Here are a few pre reading questions. What do you already know or assume about Muslim women's entrepreneurship? Just pause the video for a second and think about the Muslim women entrepreneurs back in history. All right. Yes, Hazrat Khadija is one of the Muslim women's entrepreneur, and we have always heard about her trading skills. And the second question is, are you familiar with any historical examples of successful women in business, especially from the Muslim community? Again, you can go back its historical example, and again in history, Hazrat Khadija Razallahu Ta'ala anha is one of the business women. At the same time, we can say Mohatarma Fatma Jinnah is to certain extent not exactly the businesswoman, but she was a political woman. And moving toward the next question, what are your expectations regarding the challenges Muslim women might face in starting and running their businesses? What do you think? If a Muslim woman starts her business, what are the challenges? What are the controversies? What are the obstacles and hurdles she will face during the process? And we come to know all these things within the chapter. Let's begin with our chapter, The Art of Muslim Women's Entrepreneurship by Zainab Abdi. When I think, who is this I? It's written in first person narration, and this I is used for Zainab herself. When I think about women in business, I always go back to the Muslim leader Hazrat Khadija Razallahu Ta'ala anha. She was the first wife of Hazrat Muhammad Khatimun Nabiyyin sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as well as a successful businesswoman who controlled one of the most important caravan trades in her time. What do you understand from these lines? Zainab Abdi claims whenever she thinks about starting a business and she thinks about business women, the only figure that comes in her mind is of Hazrat Khadija. Who was Hazrat Khadija? We all know Hazrat Khadija was the first wife of our Prophet ﷺ, and she got married with Prophet at the age of 40 while Prophet was only 25. Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as well as successful businesswoman. She was successful businesswoman who controlled one of the most important caravan trades. What is caravan? Caravan is a group of peoples that are traveling together for the sake of trade or pilgrim. She was knowledgeable, respected, and business savvy. What is knowledgeable? She knows about so many things. She belongs to a respectable, reputed family, and she's business savvy. What do you understand from the term savvy? The business savvy means she was very much into business. She loves to do business. Moving towards the next paragraph, although there were many obstacles, what is obstacle? Hurdle. Hurdle means mushkilat. Although there were many obstacles for women business owners during that time. Now, you all know Arab was a male dominated society. Women was not treated equally. Women were not treated fairly at that time, and we all know this is before prophethood. This incident, she Hazrat Khadija Razallahu Ta'ala anha was a trader before prophethood, when women did not enjoy the great status in Arab. Hence she faced a lot of hurdles. Hazrat Khadija shows us that achieving financial independence and self-sustenance is a real possibility. In the male dominated world, Hazrat Khadija got financial independence. She provides herself support, the financial support, physical support, and moral support, because we all know her father passed away. So, Hazrat Khadija is an example. Has set example for all women, that earning money, getting financial independence in the male dominated world is quite possible. Moving towards the next paragraph, today's Muslim women all around the world are starting their own businesses. Now she is bringing the conversation in present time, and claiming that all around the world, Muslim women have started their own businesses. We see it at Carmel Mall. Carmel Mall is a mall in Minnesota, US, where Zainab Abdi is currently living, where many of these women are not considered legitimate business owners. What is she claiming? In that Carmel Mall, women business owners are not considered legitimate. Legitimate means the one who are doing fair dealings, the one who are doing legal dealings. Muslim women are not considered legitimate business owners, but they bring their own business acumen. But at the same time, they are not considered valuable. They are not considered legitimate. Even because of all these hurdles and problems, Muslim women are still showcasing their smartness and with their ambitions and successes that we can learn from. As female entrepreneurship grows, it's important to appreciate the achievements of our own community in business ownership. She's stating that as women entrepreneurship is growing, with every passing day, women all around the world are getting financial independence. Hence, she's saying that we have to support our own community, and which community? The Muslim community, the community where Muslim women are doing their businesses, of our own community in business ownership, financial independence, and beyond. Community is not only about financial independence, rather, community supports in every thick and thin, and in all the hard times. Moving towards the next paragraph, since I was very young, now Zainab is claiming she was very young when she started dreaming of becoming an entrepreneur, starting her own business. Watching so many Somali women back home in Yemen and in the US start businesses. And what was her inspiration? First, Khadija was her inspiration. Afterwards, she has seen so many successful business women who have started their businesses. Hence, these women motivated her to consider starting her own business. But the question was how? I was so excited to plan and host one of Reviving Sisterhood's economic empowerment events for Muslim women. So at the same time, she was excited to plan Reviving Sisterhood economic empowerment event, and this is her website that you can see here. Let me highlight it for you. Here you go. And I have also checked it on Google. You can see this is the same website. that has been created by Zainab Abdi, with the name of Reviving Sisterhood. You can see here, volunteer with the sisterhood, join us in amplifying the voice of and power of Muslim women. So this website is particularly about empowering Muslim women all around the world. Muslim heroes. What is hero? Hero, the male protagonist, and Shiro is the female protagonist. So my question for you is, who is your Shiro? Let me write here. My question for all of you is, who is your Shiro? Here I have written about your Shiro. Who is your Shiro? This is your home task. You can tell me, you are going to tell me this in the comment box. Also, I have written my Shiros are my mother and Nemra Ahmed, and I will tell you someday why they are my Shiros. So this is Zainab Abdi's website. You can visit it. You can simply write revivingsisterhood.org on Google Chrome and you will find her whole page. So she was excited to plan and host one of Reviving Sisterhood's economic empowerment events for Muslim women, where the topic was how to start a business. This page, this community was basically initialized for the sake of understanding how to start a business. As I thought about my business idea, I came to the session with a lot of questions. Now she's hosting this webinar, this seminar, and she has a lot of questions. And what are those questions? What are the first steps to opening a small business? Or what were her questions? How can we establish a small business? How will you know when you are a successful? How do you manage failure? So these were basically the questions back in her mind when she has hosted this program. The event speaker offered so much experience, advice, and wisdom. At the same time, she got much insight from the experience and advice of the speakers. One of the speakers there was Anisa Haji, and Anisa Haji is a business entrepreneur. Anisa Haji started her own business fighting the skill lighting industry, where dark skinned women are always told that they aren't beautiful unless they are fair and lovely. So Anisa Haji is an entrepreneur, and what was her business? What is her business? We can say her business is about skin care products, and basically these skin care products are for women who have been originated in Middle East or in the areas where dark skinned women have been found. You can see here, Anisa Haji has created this product, not exactly beauty product, it is skincare product that is for melanated skin. And what you do you understand from melanated skin? That is dark and pigmented skin. And she has fighting against the narrative. She has fought against the agenda of fair and lovely skin. Rather, she has tried to give equal importance to dark and melanated skin at the same time, and inspiring black and brown women to appreciate their natural beauty. I hope you have understood so far. At the same time, the other speaker was Annie Kasser, and Annie Kasser is also doing the same thing. Annie Kasser is also retelling her story, her culture from her own perspective and not from the perspective of global north. Annie Kasser's story is another example of patient guiding entrepreneurship. She is again an entrepreneur. She has started her small business, she has managed her finances, and has done each and everything on her own. Her business is about embracing her South Asian heritage. Now, being living in South Asia, unfortunately, we do not embrace ourselves. Our dressing sense has completely been altered, and we have been following the cuisine of global north, and we have been following the garments of global north, and our culture has totally been vanished after the arrival of East India Company in South Asia. So she has started to embrace her own self, her South Asian culture, her South Asian heritage, and its healing traditions in order to create natural wellness products. She has started creating natural wellness products from her South Asian culture. I love learning about Anisa's and Annie's businesses. To see their creativity and their business outcomes was so impressive. And sisters who attended the event were adding their experiences, giving advice, and asking questions along the way. So she was quite inspired. Zainab was quite inspired from Annie's and Anisa's stories. And she also claimed that the business women or the women who were interested in starting business and their wisdom and advice and experience was adding in the knowledge of Zainab. One of the things that Anisa said was, remember what motivates you to start a business. She said starting business is not a big thing, but maintaining that business is really a big thing. So she says, uh, during entrepreneurial journey, we lost our interest. So in order to keep yourself motivated, what do you need to do? You need to recall the reason why you have started this business at first place. What is the spark that pushes you toward entrepreneurship? And what is your end goal? What is the real thing you want to achieve after starting your entrepreneurship? And what will you get at the end of the day? These questions are important in keeping business owners aligned with their intentions. If you keep yourself asking these questions, surely you do not get demotivated. Obviously, financial stability is one thing, and businesses gives profit and gives capital. But she claims what often motivates an entrepreneur most is a personal mission or passion. But what keeps you motivated, what keeps you going on in your business is your mission or passion, and where do you want to see yourself once you achieve that business or your goal. Especially for Muslim women business owners, community awareness, changing narratives, or giving back may be just as important as profit. Now she's claiming that for business Muslim women business owner community, what is community? This sport, the other Muslim women who are doing businesses and who are teaching out of their own experiences. Awareness is having know-how about something. Changing narratives, this is very important thing. What do you understand from narrative? Narrative is basically an idea that has been inculcated or cultivated in mind of people regarding some culture. So what is the narrative that is famous about Muslim women all around the world is, we do cover ourselves in hijabs and abayas, and we are not allowed to go outside of our houses, and we are not allowed to learn, and we are not allowed to educate, or we are not allowed to go in social gatherings. We have to prove this thing wrong. And this is the first step which Zainab Abdi has taken to change the narrative. No, Muslim women are not like that. The hijab of Muslim women are not restraining them and are not captivating their thoughts. So this is basically this whole agenda, this whole movement has been started to change the narrative regarding Muslim women. And the other thing they are saying, or giving back may be just as important as profit. So she claims these things are more important or equally important to getting profit in business. And that is what I call the art of entrepreneurship. The change of narrative is an agenda, is an art um, for Muslim women. And hence she called it the art of entrepreneurship. I had to ask myself beyond starting a business, what do I really want to accomplish? Now she is claiming, before starting business, I asked, what really I want to do? What is the thing I want to achieve in my life. What are my entrepreneurial goals and dreams? Uh, what are my business goals? Where do I want to see myself? I realize that I am most interested in getting my own food truck so I can cook yummy food in Minnesota and introduce my yummy culture to my fellow Minnesotans. Now she is saying, I realized that she realized that she was interested in getting food truck. Why she was getting interested in getting a food truck? Because she was interested in cooking food. She was interested in cooking particularly yummy food from her own origin. So what she did, she started serving food in Minnesota, serving yummy food in Minnesota, and introduced her culture to the people of Minnesota. Minnesota is basically a city in US. This is a city in US. The thing that motivates me is my love for sharing a meal. Again, uh, firstly, she wants to introduce herself, her culture in Minnesota. At the same time, she loves sharing food and connecting with people. What she did, she has combined her passion with her mission. And what is the end result? I love cooking for other and building community. My next step after this event is to talk to owners of restaurants. So after this seminar, she decided she have to talk to business owners. She have to talk to restaurant owners or food truck owners because she loves to connect with people and she loves to cook yummy food. Hence, she has created her business idea, her entrepreneurial idea, and that is my next step after this event is to talk to owners of restaurants or food trucks so I can learn more about their journeys and the steps that I need to take to start my business. I am planning to find a small group of people from the office that I can cook for from my home and get feedback before starting big. Now she is saying that instead of starting big or instead of investing a lot of money, she has been going to do with a very limited kind of funding, and she is going to cook for the people of office first, and later she is going to expand that business into the proper big business. I encourage every Muslim woman to think about how their passions and their talents align and how they can turn that business that idea how that they can turn that into a business. This is pretty much all about from her side and advice from her side from her own experience. We have been taught that a business market is a competitive place that we should stay away from. But there are so many examples from our own communities that show us the possibilities of overcoming business challenges. At the same time, she has been explaining that being a woman, you will come to know that you will come to listen that uh, these places are quite competitive and these places are not for women. But at the same time, you will get so many examples from the Muslim communities, from the successful business owners who are running businesses and overcoming their challenges. We see women entrepreneurs develop a sustainable income from another source where they can help their family and their community. At the same time, these women entrepreneurs not only help themselves but they are also supporting their families and creating communities. We need to follow the lead of these women and start our own business. At this, she is claiming that she is stating that we need to follow the footsteps of these women and have to start our own businesses in order to support ourselves financially, in order to change the narrative that are famous about Muslim women, and in order to change the world. Even if your business starts small or business experiences failure, you are still uplifting yourself and your family financially. She's claiming, and this thing is 101% right. She's claiming, she's stating, if you goes astray in your business, if you face a lot of losses, if you face failure, still you are doing great. You because you are trying to uplift yourself and your family financially, and you're becoming the next example of an entrepreneur for the next generation. And inshallah, one day somebody will mention you in their books, if you become, if you take courage and become an entrepreneur. This is pretty much all about the reading of this chapter. Let's discuss about the author. Who is she? So, author Zainab Abdi as leadership development coordinator. Zainab Abdi supports reviving sisterhoods leadership programming and help develop economic empowerment series to increase financial literacy and build wealth among Muslim women. Basically, she's working on stabilizing Muslim women financially. She is also advocate of teaching education and spoke at the United States, United Nations about the importance of educating girls in countries where they are disadvantaged. At the same time, firstly, she has been trying to make women stabilize financially, and also she is working day in and day out to educate those Muslim women. Inshallah, you have understood this lecture. If there is some issue, you can tell me in the comment box. And inshallah, the exercise of this question is this chapter is quite a thick one. We will do it in upcoming lectures. We will first do the book work, and afterwards we will do the summary and the questions. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you are doing great in your lives. If you do not understand anything, if you come across issues in your studies, you can tell me in the comment box, and I will try to help you as much as possible. At the same time, you see my contact number in thumbnails or somewhere on my YouTube channel. There is a disclaimer, there is a kind of warning for all of you that this number is only for the people who want to avail tutoring online. This number is not for any other purpose. So try not to contact me if you are not if you do not want to take online tutoring or any paid course or one-to-one online classes or whatever. So, on a very lighter note, I have discussed this thing with you. I hope you will avoid sending me extra messages there. I will be really grateful. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz for now, inshallah. We will meet soon with our next lecture on bookwork.